Hey everyone, it is Sunday, July 31st. The time is 4:42 p.m. and I am here at what has been called the worst airport in the world. And this is Toronto's Pearson Airport. And there's a look at the Union Pearson Express train. And that'll be making its way into downtown Toronto shortly. And I just got dropped off from a lift. And there's my carry-on luggage. And today I'll be going on a flight from here in Toronto over to what's been ranked as the fourth worst airport, and that is Schiphol in Amsterdam. And those ratings are based on which airports currently have the worst flight delays. And my flight is scheduled for 9:15. So this is probably the earliest I've ever got here. And for this one, I'm going to be walking into the terminal and then making my way down to security, where I will stop recording for obvious reasons. And then I'll resume recording on the other side of security, and I'll make my way down to the gate. And I've heard a lot of horror stories coming from Pearson, but right now security wait times are about 11 minutes according to their website. And I get to avoid the US Customs line, which is always a pain in the butt. There's my flight, 21:15, AC 826, gate 5. And you know what? I think we're actually supposed to wear masks once we're inside the airport, and that is not something I've done for several months. How do I look? Maybe I'll take the shades off since we're inside. There's been talk about how the airlines are overbooked and understaffed. And the Greater Toronto Airport Authority, which manages the airport, is also having staffing issues. And on the way in, there's a number of sort of outdated COVID procedures still in place, including the re-implementation of random testing, which they're now doing off-site. So I'm heading to gate 5, or 5 right here. And you still have to fill in that silly ArriveCan app. I do check-on only, and I already have my boarding pass, so I am going to skip this mayhem here and just go straight to security. And apparently coming back into the country, it takes the immigration officers about 4 times longer now than it did pre-COVID to process each arrival. Here we go, gate E. But so far it's business as usual. This is about as busy as I would expect it to be. And I think the flight I'm going on is around 7 hours. So there's where I will enter security. So this seems like a good place to stop recording. I have to locate my friends who I'm traveling with, and maybe I'll find my way to a facility as well. So I will see you on the other side of security. And we are back. So that took a little longer than 11 minutes. I'd say closer to 25 to 30. But it was pretty smooth sailing. I had to put my laptop and phones and anything metal on those trays, along with my bags, of course. And I'm not sure what gate my flight is leaving from. It's possible it was on the board when I walked in, but I checked my phone while waiting for security, and it indicated that my flight was delayed. Let's see here. 21:15 Amsterdam. E74 delayed until 10 p.m. So could be worse. It's just a 45-minute delay. And I think this is the security for people making connections. I think this is where you can get ripped off on some airport currency exchanges. I just brought cash, and I have my debit card and a couple of Visa cards. Connections to the US and international gates this way.
Please wear your mask at all times. À l'aéroport Toronto Pearson, on a mis en place une approche polyvalente pour protéger la santé de nos passagers et de nos employés. Veuillez porter votre masque en tout temps.
So far, I'd say this has been a completely normal experience. The only thing different than pre-pandemic would be having to wear a mask, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not really a big deal. There's a currency exchange. I'm just going to take a peek out at the tarmac. This is all Air Canada stuff. That's the city of Mississauga way off in the distance. And there's normally two of these moving escalators. They've got the one on the right closed off. Nothing like taking a stroll through the airport on your way to a flight. I think these gates down here are mostly for flights to the US. You can't really get a good look in. I think I'm getting honked at. They're like, who's the nut job not taking the moving escalator? There's the waiting area. So what I'll try to do is make a video from Schiphol, I think that's how you pronounce it, I apologize if that's wrong, to Toronto as well, as I think that's when all the real fun will happen. I'll have to fill out that ArriveCan app, which really wasn't a big deal, but also really shouldn't be necessary. And apparently they email you if you've been selected for random screening for COVID. So I'm not really sure why anyone would choose Canada over other destinations that don't have that requirement. Because if you're on your way here just for a week or two and you test positive, because it's under federal jurisdiction, you have to isolate for 10 days, even though the province of Ontario only requires 5 days. which is kind of silly. If I get tested positive because of this flight, I'm in isolation for 10, but if I just get a cough and decide to test myself or get tested through other means, I only have to isolate for 5 days. And I think truthfully most people aren't even bothering to test or go through that these days. For Amsterdam, the only thing I'm required to do is show proof of a vaccine. And I think there's a period, something like 275 days, where that's the maximum period between now and your last shot. So this is an area that I know quite well coming up. I used to fly out of Gate E up here through EVA Air, and that's a route I would take frequently to Asia. And that's a flight that usually left around 12:45 a.m. So what I'm going to do, I think, is reconnect with my friends who are wandering around the airport without me, because I told them I'm recording a video. They didn't really want anything to do with that. Then we're going to sit down and have a meal. It's a tight squeeze here. Big wait to take the elevator down. Here's where you'll find the duty-free shops. So E74 is straight ahead. I'm going to quickly loop around to the right. There's a Starbucks, there's a Tim Hortons on the other end. Maybe I'll finish up recording there. I think with all the delays, these food joints must be doing pretty well. A lot of people having a lot of time to kill. There's a banh mi restaurant, a place called Rock Squeeze. There's Poach. And when I flew to Mexico last time I was here, I went to Lee Restaurant around the corner. They didn't exactly have the best service. In fact, our waiter was kind of out in outer space the whole time. And there's some gates that way. It's kind of crowded. Here is my gate, E74. So I'm just going to wander down to the other side and I'll show you around Tim Hortons. And that'll be that for this. And if anything eventful happens, I'll come back and update the video after I've ended it. This is kind of interesting. It's probably not the best use of space, but it's pretty cool nevertheless. And they have iPads here, and hilariously, every time I try to use these, I always find someone who's kind of left themselves logged in. You often end up on someone's Facebook or something like that. You can also order food that way. This is kind of crowded. That flight is going to Vienna. So there's two main terminals here and one inner terminal that is seldom used, Terminal 1 and Terminal 3. This is the newer of the two. I used to fly out of Terminal 3 quite a bit when I would fly through Cathay Pacific. Up there is the Air Canada Premium Lounge. I've only got to go to those lounges a few times. One was a Cathay Pacific Lounge, and the other was a United Lounge of all airlines. They're offering upgrades to that one flight. This one's going to Frankfurt, and this one's going to London beside it. And here's where the hottest place is in Terminal 1, the Timmy's. This is always lined up if there's a crowd here. I think this is where I finished my last video through here. I'm just going to find a view of the window, or out the window. I guess of the window too.
It'll be fine.
What a monster lineup for some reasonably priced coffee and snacks. This is the only place in the airport where you will get reasonably priced anything, I think.
Qatar Portugal Flight 260 is calling the attention of all passengers in Zone A. All passengers in Zone A, please proceed to gate E81 for
All right,
boarding.
so that is
Can
it
you
for
please
now. That
check
was just a
your
walk through
boarding
Terminal 1.
pass? It shows your zone.
I've got
on
a
the
very
boarding
long
pass.
wait. It is
And
5:28 right now. And my flight is not till 10 p.m., so I'll probably be having a few drinks. I feel like I'm trying to speak over the PA announcement. So if anything eventful happens, I'll come back and update the video. If not, thank you for watching. I do have links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership in the description. I have an Instagram account at Johnny Strides. And there's now a super thanks button appearing below these videos. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. All right, and finally, we are in Amsterdam. It was a rather long, uneventful flight. I've made it off the plane. It says trains are over this way, so that flight was delayed once more. We didn't actually get off the ground until about 11:15. This is not by any means a comprehensive tour of the airport. I'm just recording my walk over to where the trains are. It's a pretty uneventful flight. I've already got the eSIM up and running on one of my phones, so I have full LTE data. Let's see here, parking and trains go straight. I haven't figured out what train to get on or what the route will be. And believe it or not, this is my first time in Europe. I have found the rail station. 10 gigs. For 10 euros, I paid 20 USD for unlimited data for 5 days. So here we go. We are at airport rail station. So what I'm going to do is put the phone down and figure out where the heck I'm going. All right. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.